Courses 1, 2, and 3 done. Great job so far. Now we get into the much different simulation session 1. This video is a great place to start for the Sims 1. I'm going to have a few more videos, of course, below this if you're looking at the playlist, but basically this is broken up into 3 categories. First, the structure, second, the preparation, and third, my personal experience. Be sure to stick around to the end for that because my expectation was significantly different than my experience. As usual, if you are looking for additional support to pass these exams, look to the Exam Master mini courses in the description below. More on that later in the video, but let's just dive right into it. First, the structure, what the course consists of, the times, the length, and the exam. Most, if not all, students will be doing their simulation session virtually, meaning all done online. Some colleges do offer in person, but it's not getting much traction at all. It will be you, a bunch of other students, and 1 or 2 facilitators, all from the comfort of your home via a video conferencing platform like Zoom. If you're watching this right now and they're using something different, it'll be something similar to Zoom. You have 2 options for these simulation sessions, and we'll get into exactly what they are, but basically you can choose the weekday sessions or the weekend session. Note, if you choose the weekend session, it is actually 3 consecutive weekends. A very high percentage of people watching this will be using Humber as their college, but if you're using Algonquin or Fleming, career college is a little different, but it does not matter. You'll basically go on their website, this one is Humber, to book your session. You will navigate to the website and you are looking for availability. You will see a few options when booking these, but what you look for is what works for you, either the weekdays or the weekends. If you are choosing the weekdays, it will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on the Friday, it will be 9 a.m. to about 2:30 p.m. If you are choosing the weekends, it will actually be 3 consecutive weekends like mentioned because they got to fill those 5 days. So it'll actually be Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and you will finish on the following Saturday. As far as booking your exam, because these are the simulation sessions, you and other students and a facilitator going over the content, and I have other great videos on what to expect in the content, and then you will book your exam. You will be given the option to book your exam after that 5th day. It has to be within 7 days of that 5th day, and we'll touch on that as well. Okay, what is optimal? Of course, the weekday sessions are optimal because you get them over with in 5 straight days. That's nice and fast and efficient. However, know your situation. If you are not working, it's a no-brainer, but if you are working, of course, just take the weekend sessions. It's not a huge rush by any means, ideally during the week, but if you don't want to take any vacation time, that's very understandable. I'm glad they offer the weekend options. Okay, let's touch on the exam, which is still part of the structure. We now have a different exam. We're actually down to 50 questions now. You still have a full 3 hours to complete it, which gives you roughly 3.5 minutes per question. You still have the option of booking your exam both online or in person, and these questions now on the exams are much different. They are long-worded scenario-based questions now. 80 to 90% are long-worded scenario-based questions. It is still multiple choice though. It's still 1 question with 4 possible answers, but the fact that these are long worded does and can throw a lot of students off. I was very surprised when I first saw it. I know some people watching this, English isn't their first language, and others just struggle in general with longer, confusing questions, right? It can go 1 or 2 ways I've found. Some people struggle with it, they like the other style better, and some people fly through it. Don't stress at all though, that is why you are here for additional support. One thing on these exams, this is why you're here, and I want you to take them serious, is not only are they the most expensive. They're the most expensive exam, week-long or weekend sessions, but they are also very time-consuming. You don't want to start failing these as the repeats, expensive, and a ton of your time. Again, if you do want to be very prepared, look to those Exam Master mini courses in the description below. Okay, so to stay on with the structure, just so you can visualize this, right? You have yourself, a bunch of other students, 1 or 2 facilitators that will run the entire week, and just like normal Zoom or Google Meet, whoever is talking will take the main screen with other people along the top or the side. 95% of the time, the facilitators talking or a slide they are sharing will be here, and the students will be along the top. As the day flows, they will send you into breakout rooms. Okay, these breakout rooms are usually about 2 or 4 of your fellow students, and you carry out actions and complete tasks. If I had to put a number on it, you probably spend 2 to 3 hours in these breakout rooms of the 8 hours per day. Some of the best parts of this that I found, the most fun and the best part, was meeting the fellow students because you're all in the same boat, as well as doing some of these tasks. It was kind of nice to have a break from just sitting and watching and then taking on tasks, and again, fun to meet with other fellow students in the same position as yourself. A potential task could be something like they give you 4 different clauses, and in those clauses, you and the students, they go through, you make sure which ones are favorable, let's say to your sellers or your buyers or something like that, as well as if there's any mistakes. They purposely put some mistakes in there for you to locate with your fellow classmates. The other half of the time in the breakout rooms, you will be what's called role-playing certain scenarios with the other students. For example, you'll start with an elevator pitch. You might get into talking to your seller in, say, a potential listing presentation, or everyone's favorite, explaining the buyer representation agreement. The facilitators will ask questions to the group that probably takes up another 2 to 3 hours, and the other remaining time, other 2 to 3 hours or so, will be them either explaining topics or answering questions. Breaks as well, you will have 2 15-minute breaks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and a 1-hour lunch. Okay, second on the list, preparation, and it's preparation for the week. I have some other great videos on preparation for the exams that are either coming soon or out already, but there's 2 ways people or students are preparing for this week or weekend long grinds. So once you have booked your session, quick go back and double check your hours, right? You can go back into your Humber portal if it's Humber, Algonquin, or Fleming. Career college, again, I keep mentioning, but they are a bit strange with how they do it in a cohort. But basically go on, double check your hours, and double check that you've booked your exam for the day you want. As far as the amount of days you should book your exam after the simulation session, day 5 is over with, a lot of students, you have 7 days like mentioned, but a lot of students like 2 or 3 days. That's like the sweet spot if possible. Give yourself 2 days of studying, book it on the 3rd, that type of thing. But to each their own. Some even go right after, right? They go literally the next day, but we see more 2 to 3 days is optimal. You will also have access to your workbooks, which you can access in PDF form. You'll basically follow along during the week with these PDFs, and I would check to download these basically the next day, or at least if you can't get these PDFs within a week of starting, I would double check or call your college. To tell you the truth, these workbooks are actually a bit of a jumble. It almost doesn't make any sense sometimes to go through. When it does start to make sense is when you are filling it out and going through these workbooks with the fellow students and the facilitators. You could probably skim through it if you like for preparation, but there's not too much you need to know from there. And again, it might be more confusing than anything else. Some people prefer to print out all of these workbooks so they have a hard copy in front of them that they can mark up on as they're following along. Personally, for me, I just had a bit of a setup that was different in that I had my laptop in front of me that was my Zoom. To my left, I had a separate monitor where my workbooks were, and to my right, I had my own little notepad to take notes and stuff like that. Okay, last on the list, my experience, right? And again, this is just my experience, and I know others have felt this way as well now, but this is just my experience in the moment. So take from it the good, the bad, and prepare accordingly. The simulation sessions, although there is some new stuff that you will learn for sure, is roughly based on courses 1, 2, and a little bit of 3. It will be very compliance heavy, right? You will again learn some new stuff, but it will be very compliance heavy. To a certain extent, stuff we have been learning about a little bit so far, I was hoping to start learning how to do the job. The facilitators are fantastic, and sometimes they did answer my questions that I pushed a little bit for, but I could tell that the questions I was asking was completely off their curriculum, right? They're great people. Some of the people I talked to are even funny people, facilitators, but they have to follow the correct curriculum they've been given. We spent hours on client relationships and explaining agreements, right, to a potential client. And you know what? I look back at this type of stuff and it possibly could be valuable, right? In the moment, I was a bit over that type of stuff, but you need to know this stuff. You need to try to start visualizing yourself in front of clients, explaining these agreements to them. So that could be a positive if I think back on it now. But one thing they do, and this is 100% a teaching method and something I don't like, is if I ask a question that I'm curious about, what they do is they flip it on you almost, right? And it's part of what they do, right? This is like, takes up a bunch of hours. They ask you, what do you think the answer to that question is, as the person asking it? And then they even ask the whole group, what does the group think? And I get it, it's a teaching method. It's just that I want the answer to questions. And when you do that, and you ask the whole group what they think a possible answer is to a question, they don't know. So instead of you getting a question answered right away, this takes like 10 to 15 minutes And in that time, you could have answered that question and 7 more like it. In my opinion, this actually prolongs the learning curve, and I understand exactly why they do it, or why they did it when we were in grade school and stuff like this. You need to keep students engaged. However, when you are dealing with high-paying adults that want information, I don't agree with this method. I'd prefer a question answer scenario to keep the ball going and allow students to learn as fast and as efficient as possible. And by again, no way the facilitator's fault. My facilitators were awesome. They were funny. They were just doing their job and following a curriculum they've been told to do. I love learning and I love teaching. So maybe my mindset is a bit more optimized towards, if someone asks a question, get it to them so they can learn it and they can start making money. That's what I want and kind of how I teach. Okay, that was my experience on day 1. Of course, that was a bad day 1 for me, but you can never bring that into day 2, can you? You reset, you get your mindset on point. Instead of now learning 100 things, which is what I was hoping for, I'm going to learn 1 to 5. That's the name of this game, especially when you get deeper into real estate. I now, let's say my brain is 99% full with what I need to know and what I need to help people with. I'm always looking for that 1%. So change your mindset. If I got to watch a video like this first, it would have even helped me on day 1 of what to expect. Participate as much as you can, ask a bunch of questions, meet your fellow students, try to have fun with it because we all have to do it. Okay, like mentioned, if you are looking for the additional support to pass these exams first try, look to the Exam Master mini courses in the description below. They are mini notes, mini quizzes, my exact fundamentals I use to pass all exams first try and in 4.5 months, as well as video breakdowns of the 4 types of questions you may see in the exams. For this, you can get it the week leading up to your simulation session to get it over prepared, or just get it and cram during your study time after day 5. Either way, they are in the description below, and those links are actually still value links for the YouTube family just for the time being. I really hope that helped, guys. I'll add that value link right here as well if needed. If you have any questions at all, DM, email, comment on this video. I get back to everyone. My name is Callum, eXp Realty real estate broker here in Ontario. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.